vibrations vibrate floorboards to squeal a rockin' billycock woo. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces when the caterpillar said sorry. Sorry was for not eating, because we was working for the waste disposal company. So bring it there with the bag bog cat, bring it there with the bone saw. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. Carve on that there thigh, feel the rusty old teeth. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Tearing into flesh, that flesh fresh from the caterpillar rack. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So tap for another to croon that bag block cat syncopation. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. But the glue man knows, he knows we can't afford the teeth or the meat. And he was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Eat at home, glue man. This table ain't yours, nor this rusty handheld. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So shoo the glue man. This doorstep belongs to the bag bog cat. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. This here grill bug with all its chewing, that too be the bag bog cats. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Tin wheel gurney with flaming sheep, that ain't nothing for you, glue man, because we was working for the waste disposal company. So the caterpillar, it's gonna scuttle down another, it's gonna crawl another down. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. Gotcha! Placemat of piranha in a wasteland outside the machine of war. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Grind your thighs and think on sugar sweet cloth rack. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So a ferocious runner slicing or strip them bones in teeth saw lines. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. Can you do what you want? What can you want tonight? And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. With placeholder to foot stomper, granite range, who wet with garden metal. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So, with a rat-tat-tat, the glue man could feel the gun under jacket. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. New lard suds, wash hands to the caterpillar lock. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Across the bar, the glue man knew. He knew the range of every enemy. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So she saw her long brown hair with nonsense syllables. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. The glue man could feel the weight of every round. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Rode outside, tossed coaches to clash. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. So one and another ground-tied survivors into broken board hold. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy crap. The rifle crack outside said, "Sweet, you didn't beat the caterpillar jive." And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. So when are we to the Lone Star? The same stark riff. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. First on the line, so comes the glue man. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap. Low on the blue horizon, White Gallop stomped down the door. And we was digging ditches and shoveling mud and burning feces. Wishing for the one boulevard to cut out for the bag bob cat. Because we was working for the waste disposal company. We thought we told you, glue man, scat. And we was wearing overalls and iron face and corduroy cap.
Welcome back. Right. This is a true story. In the 1600s, in the Principality of Ansbach, during winter, somewhere in Europe, possibly where Germany is now, who really knows, it was a long time ago. The townsfolk during winter were terrorised by a giant wolf. And kind of everyone flipped out. Everyone in Ansbach at the time was extremely concerned. They'd seen this wolf moving around just outside of the village, and the fear was that the wolf would start coming to the village and taking the livestock, which would really fuck them up in winter, and that would be a bad thing. And then things kind of got worse because they'd just recently been under the grip of a Burgermeister Burgermeister, who I think is like a kind of an equivalent at the time of a mayor.
Ronald McDonald!
Yeah, Ronald McDonald. He was a giant clown. Anyway, who was known to be extremely cruel. He was this incredible bully. He had the entire village living in this fear for their lives. And he died choked to death on a fishbone. And when he died, someone said that they definitely heard a wolf howl when he died. And so as they kind of talked out, yeah, whoa, who did that? You're in. You've got the job. And so as they talked about this wolf that was terrorising their village, they realised that the wolf was actually the spirit of their Burgermeister, it's just a good word to say, who at death had actually transformed into a wolf and had actually come back to continue terrorising their village by, coming in and stealing their livestock and potentially attacking them during the night. So they formed a group of the strongest men that they had together, a posse. They got a posse up, and they headed out into the woods one night to try and track the wolf, and they spent a long time being completely unable to find it. And then they finally saw this gigantic grey wolf, and it looked at them, and they looked at the wolf, and then it tore off through the forest, running away from them. So they kind of chased after the wolf. They had spears, probably. Something like that. Guns? Are you sure?
Guns.
Alright, they had guns. They were a posse after all. Laser cannons. They had laser cannons. They were all on motorcycles. So they got on their motorcycles with their laser cannons. They tore through the woods. Spent the entire night hunting the wolf, and at no point could they ever get any. They could never get any ground on the wolf. She was always one step ahead of them. Until finally, they realised that they chased the wolf back into the town, and by this point the wolf was completely and utterly terrified as they charged after it, and it ran into the town, and it saw the only place it could possibly hide wolves, not, a lot of instinct but not a lot of logic happening there, was a well in the centre of town. The wolf leapt into the well, and the people saw that they had a trap, so they stood around the well, and all of the villagers kind of came out and pelted the wolf with rocks and guns. Apparently it's historically accurate. I wasn't really going for historical accuracy, but these things happen. They dropped their plasma balls in there. It took a really long time for the wolf to die as well, but eventually it bled to death in the bottom of the well. And all of the villagers got the wolf out of the well, and they tied it on a stick and paraded it around the village. And all of the villagers and the children pelted it with rocks and sticks. They took it to the centre of town, and they cut off the wolf's arms, or like paws. Cut off all of the wolf's paws and cut off its muzzle, and they had a wax replica of the Burgermeister, the mayor's face, and they put that on there, and they stuck on actual human hair that villagers donated for kind of extra authenticity, I guess. And they dressed the wolf in the Burgermeister's old clothes, and then they had a gallows, and they raised it to the top of the gallows, and they hung the wolf from the town, and then they had a giant party. And that's a true story.